What's up, everybody? We are live here with Senior Portrait Secrets Live, and I'm really excited about this show because we got David Beckham in Ohio. David's a photographer I have been following for a number of years. His work is just gorgeous. I'm sure a lot of you actually already know who he is and follow his work, whether you've just seen him online. He's super active in a number of Facebook groups, and he's also active as a speaker at a number of conferences, and I last saw him speak at Shutterfest. If you haven't had a chance to get to know David, today is a great opportunity. He's going to share some really good nuggets on a model team and a little couple of other things that we have a surprise for to show you at the end. Anyways, hey Shane, what's going on, man?
What is going on, Josh? Man, we got a great show. I've been looking forward to this one. We've had David lined up for a few weeks now, and I'm excited to get him in here and get him talking. So it's going to be great.
Me too. So also I need to apologize. I'm actually in my dining room right now. I got a sick little girl with strep throat and an ear infection. So supposedly she's taking a nap. If she decides to wake up, I might just hop off here and go from there. But anyways, that's not going to interrupt the show because it's going to be good no matter what. So Shane, we've been talking, last 4 weeks now about lighting, gotten some good stuff, gotten some good emails. Let me take this opportunity right here to kind of just say, I just sent an email saying we are live on Facebook. I know a lot of you use email to kind of reply back to and ask questions and whatnot. Jump on the comments, subscribe on YouTube. Shane's going to put up all the links on that kind of stuff so you can subscribe. Also, just let us know in the comments if you have questions. We are looking at them live and whatnot. So anyways, Shane, we got lighting, week number 4 on this. What do you got for us today?
Well, today, Josh, we're going to talk about, first of all, I hope your daughter feels better. That's terrible. But we're going to talk about the lighting stuff we're going to talk about today. It's, we're going to talk about light modifiers and what they can do for your photography, what your work can benefit from. And so I want to talk a little bit about that to begin. And I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, and so with light modifiers, what you're looking for is the quality of light that you get. And depending on which modifier you use, you're going to have, this is a really broad categories here. It's harsh light, soft light. So just an example of harsh and soft. Here's a photograph I took a couple of years ago of a senior boy, and for guys, I like to use harsh light. It's pretty common to use harsh light because guys, they're kind of edgy. They want their pictures to be more edgy, a little bit more masculine looking.
That's a really good shot, by the way. Sorry, that's awesome.
No, thank you. Interrupt anytime you want to tell me how good my stuff is. That's always welcome. So that's what I was going for with this young man. And so we used some harsh lighting there. And just a few weeks ago, I took this shot of this young lady and used a little softer lighting with girls and women. You want to use the softer light most of the time, especially with portraiture. It just makes good sense to do that. So if we zoom in on these pictures, you can see on the left, Chris, a telltale, you're looking at shadows, and what you really want to look at is look at their nose, the shadow that their nose creates. If you look at the shadow on that his nose is creating there, the shadow, the edge of the shadow is sharper. On her nose, it's a different lighting pattern. It's under the nose. It's a little softer of a shadow there, and you can usually tell if you're trying to figure out what somebody did to create the shot that they got, that you want to maybe replicate, or you want that look. The shadow on the nose, or shadows behind them, shadows on the face, fall off light, as you see on his cheek there. So it's a very quick fall off from highlights to shadows. The shadows on her face, you can see on her cheek there where her dimple is. Going back, you're seeing a very subtle change from highlight to shadow. So that's what you get with the difference between harsh and soft lights. And just to talk about what you would use, what modifiers to use to get those different effects. harsh light, the harshest light, we'll go in order for this category from the harshest to the least harshest light. That is hard to say. Bare bulb is no modifier. It's just taking everything off of your modifier or off of your strobe that would affect the light at all. Bare bulb is the harshest light that you can get. It's similar to that light that you would get from direct sunlight. So the bare bulb is the harshest. You could have a 7-inch reflector, which is going to direct the light a little bit, and it does soften it just a little bit. It's still very harsh, but not as harsh as bare bulb. Beauty dish would be next, and you do have a little bounce. You can see the circular plate in the middle. The light bounces off of, goes back into the dish, and then reflects back onto your subject. So you have a little bit more redirection. Every time the light is redirected, it's softened a little bit. But again, it's still on the harsh side of the spectrum. And then the last thing, this is my favorite overall modifier, the silver bounce umbrella. I love it. And actually, I do go a little softer with this light. I have a soft silver bounce umbrella, so it's not as reflective. If you've shot natural light, you've used those reflectors that are just silver on one side, then you've got a gold side, you've got a white side, and then just a scrim. All those you're familiar with these surfaces from using those reflectors. Just think about it in the same way. So if you had a white umbrella, very soft light. The silver umbrella is going to be more harsh, of course. So those are your, these are not all of the modifiers that there are on the harsh side, but just to give you some examples of different levels of harshness that you can use, that's what you have on the harsh side. So looking at the soft light, you see the white umbrella is, the larger, this is a good thing to know also, the larger the modifier, no matter what the modifier is, the softer the light's going to be. So if you have a small beauty dish, like a 16-inch beauty dish, it's going to be way harsher than a 22 or 28-inch beauty dish. So the same goes with umbrellas. If you want the softest light possible, get yourself one of those 70-inch umbrellas and pray that there's no wind outside if you're using it outside. But I would never suggest using a 70-inch umbrella outside unless you have lots of help. And
even then, still, those people are gonna.
Even then, you better have a crew. I try to stay under the 48-inch. This is my umbrella is actually 51 inches, but that's as big as I'm going to go outside unless I've got a lot of help. But yeah, the soft light, the white shoot-through umbrella is your best bet on that. Then you have different soft boxes. This is just your standard, probably 2 foot by 3 foot soft box. You also have octoboxes, which are octagonal, obviously, and it just changes the catch light. Really, the quality of light is very similar from the rectangular and octangular soft boxes. It's just going to change the shape of the catch light in the eye. So if you want it to look like window light, you would use the square one or the rectangular one. If you want it to look like sunlight, then obviously the octobox is where you want to go. That's one consideration there. And then strip lights. These are usually used behind the subject. I have used them as soft boxes before just because I like the cool, edgy catch light, the line in the eye. If you use one on each side, it really looks cool to have the two lines in their eyes. It can be distracting. So, that's kind of your call as far as preference goes. But the soft boxes are very soft, and we're going in reverse order here. The softest light is the umbrella. Next would be the soft boxes. Next would be a beauty dish with a sock or a diffuser, shower cap, whatever you want to call it, Josh, is fine with me. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard it called shower cap, but I think maybe that's what I'll start doing now. So beauty dish, the one thing you can do to kind of turn your beauty dish into an octobox is to put that sock over it. and that's usually sold by the same company that it's usually made for that beauty dish. So you want to check with that with whatever beauty dish you have or want.
Yeah, this is my go-to.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rarely ever do I use the beauty dish without that sock on it. It's a really good combination. It's still a little harsher than your Octoboxes because it's smaller. Most beauty dishes, Josh, maybe the one you use is also 22 inches. I use the 22 inch. And just as a tip, I chose to purchase the silver beauty. You can have them silver inside, so the light's a little harsher, or you can have them white inside, so it's softer. Just for the versatility, because I know I'm going to have a sock, I went ahead and got the silver beauty dish so I can have harsh light, or just put that little sock on there, and then it softens it up really nicely. And then the last thing is what's called an ice light, which is, it doesn't attach to your strobe. It's actually its own light source. It's a lot like a photographer's version of a lightsaber. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's literally about 2.5 feet long, and it's LED lights that are really bright. For LED lights, is really good. This is I think Westcott makes this one, and there are off brands that work really well. Also, this is probably the cream of the crop as far as the ice light brand goes, and it also can change color temperature. So it'll have a neutral or a cooler temperature or warmer temperature. And this is a smaller modifier, so it's not quite as soft, but there's so many of those little lights that the light is actually spreading and going everywhere. So it is a soft light. So those are your modifiers that you can use, and we welcome any questions about those. Comment now in the live video, or you can comment if you're watching this not live, either on Facebook or in our group, or if you're watching us on YouTube, Senior Portrait Secrets Live on YouTube, you can just put those questions in comments in the comments section. We'll get to those as well. So there you have it. Josh, did you learn lots of things from that, or did you not?
I did. I found out you can use a lightsaber in photography. So
it's true. If you can also buy gels for those ice lights.
Can you really?
You really can. Yeah, you can get gels for them and have all kinds of different fun. And you really could use it as you get a green one and a red one, and you could be I'll be the Sith Lord, obviously.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right. Enough of that. Maybe we should transition here and bring in our guest. His name is David Beckham, and David Beckham is, we're not telling you about somebody that you don't already know about. You already know who David Beckham is. David is a nationally known photographer, respected senior portraits photographer. He speaks at national conferences. Next up, I guess, or I don't know if it's next up, but he is speaking at Sync 2018 in February down in Destin, Florida. So if you are wanting great education from a senior portrait photography standpoint, and you want to go to the beach in February, pretty good. David, welcome.
Uh-oh.
I'll actually be in Florida twice. In January, I'm speaking at SPI. I'm going to do a pre-con thing there and speak during the conference as well. Do a couple things with them. At Sync, I'm doing a pre-con, but that one's already sold out, so that's not an option. I'm going to do Shoot to Print with Sal Sincata in November in Atlanta and in New York City. And I'm out with Craig Stidham in Amarillo, Texas later. I'm doing Shutterfest again this year, so I'm all over the place.
Busy, wow. Man, I'm telling you. So we appreciate you coming here, and we know one thing that you really excel at is your senior model program, and we want to talk to you about that a little bit. While you start kind of the intro and telling us about your how you work your senior model program, your senior team. I want to show a few pictures that you've sent us to share. So tell us about what you do with your seniors.
When I started my senior model program, my studio is located 2 miles from Kent Smith, which is, if you don't know who he is, you should know who he is. They're probably one of the grandfathers of modern senior photography. He started an ambassador program 25 years ago or 30 years ago, which is what the senior model programs have kind of evolved from. Well, when I did mine, I was less interested in using it as advertising from them getting me new clients, and more interested in using it as advertising. So I have people I can photograph whenever I want to do the cool, fun, creative things. And the more I work with them, the more I realize that. So we do a lot of social service projects as well. But that's how we got started.
That's great. So with your senior models, now I know one thing that's unique about your model program, not that just that you use it as advertising, but you don't only use seniors in high school, right?
In fact, usually I just sent out emails to all my senior models that are 2018 grads today saying, hey, it's time to come in and sort through your portfolios. I'm pretty much done with you. So the senior models that are going to be most active for me are juniors and even sophomores from this point forward. So I have 2018, 2019, and 2020 senior models already signed up as part of my program. And most of the 2018s are done with all their shooting and extra stuff. There are a couple that have been really good to me, either through publications or how active they've been or things like that, that I'll still use throughout the rest of this year. But most of them I've let go of, and they understand that coming in when they sign the contract.
That's awesome. So
really using the younger kids, and the biggest reason I use the younger kids is most people in my area have decided where they're going by the time they're a senior already. So I want to get them before they decide. So if I get the right sophomores involved early, all their sophomore friends are seeing their photos, and then they're asking her about those, and then I get to get them when they're younger interested in knowing who I am. So sophomores and juniors right now are the people I want to get involved. So we'll be doing friend shoots with the sophomores and the juniors. So they'll bring their friends in and we'll do some shoots with them together. So their friends get to meet me in person and get an idea of the work I do, see my studio and all that kind of stuff. So it helps me market to those people way ahead of time.
So you're like way out there. That's awesome. That's a good strategy.
I've got 34 2018s. I have 20 2019s right now, and 3 2020s signed up right now.
You're okay. So Shane did the pre-interview with you, and you know when I was reading over it, there was just I was actually really surprised how far out you went with your models, and it's still a senior team, kind of. You're already recruiting well past the graduating class.
It's a model team. It's a senior model team, and that's what it's there for, because I do senior photography. But it's more just a model team because most of them aren't seniors until they're ready to move on. Their senior years are usually still full with all the stuff they have going on as a senior anyway. They can't really participate in the stuff we're doing. But it works really well for me. They sign a contract when they come in. They put a deposit down, and then at that point they become one of my senior models. The contract states that they can't shoot with another photographer in any kind of senior photography thing, and that they will choose one of my 2 packages during their junior year, and we'll get started with the rest of their photography. They have to have all their photo shoots done by the end of July. That's my goal. And if they bring me in new clients, they can get extra fall shoots and some bonus stuff as well. But mostly it's just having people available that I can post online anytime I want for my advertising and marketing.
Wow. So let me do a follow-up with this. So one of the things that I see quite a bit, and one of the things that I guess you're most proud of, is you guys do a lot of community service, like with the soup kitchen. Is that right? Is that
when I first started with the senior model team, I'm going to flash back a little bit. I used to be a youth pastor. I coached girls softball for 20 years. I used to work with junior achievement when I was a kid. So I've always been working with kids. I started working with the Faith Mission. It's a homeless shelter in Columbus, Ohio. I started working with them 20 some years ago. So when I started here with my full-time studio, it just made sense that I continued doing what I'm doing with that. And so I started off by just a couple times a year, I would pay to buy the food and I'd take the girls down and we'd have fun serving. Well, I decided that if I take that money that I'm spending, invest it in a fashion show, advertise for donations to attend the fashion show, that I could double or more the money that I spend. So now we'll have 40 girls in a fashion show. We'll raise we raised $8,800 the last 2 years, and we can go 12 or 13 times a year and serve the homeless down at the big shelters. And I take the kids once a month and sometimes twice a month, and we pile in my truck and we go buy the food, and then we go to the shelter and serve at the shelter up to 300 people sometimes, and then I take them out for ice cream afterwards, and it's a very, very well spent day.
Nice. I love that about what you do. I don't know. I love that.
And we do other events too. If the kids have a charity that at their school that they need a photographer for, I tell them, hey, you need a photographer, let me know. I'll do photos with Santa for a cause, or with the Easter Bunny. I've done prom night for special needs kids. I've done Halloween costume stuff with other groups. I've helped kids. Any opportunity, I just volunteer and do. So it works out really well. And we have things here in my studio, because my studio's in a little village, and there's a lot of things going on in the village that I'm involved with. And anytime I'm involved with something with them, I will have the kids help. So they'll just come down and volunteer, and I'll ask for 6 kids to come, and they'll sign up in seconds, and they'll come down and volunteer for like Halloween in the village, where I'm taking photos of kids in their costumes, and then we sell 5x7 prints for $5 donation to our food fund, and I'll have 8 girls dressed in costumes, and they'll be working their butt off all night as we shoot and print these things out as they come through. And we have a blast with things like that at Santa Claus, and there's other activities in the village that we're involved in.
Wow. That's amazing. Shane, I think you had a video, or did you have one more question?
No, let's go ahead and jump into that. And we'll just play this here, David, and then you can talk about it after we're finished.
You're going to miss hearing her sing at the piano while she was chasing her dreams. You're going to miss the laughter from the other room as she hangs out with her friends. You'll miss the tennis matches, the talks at the counter, the messy bedrooms, the sleepovers, and the joy of having her home every day. You'll remember the restlessness you felt waiting to hear the car pull in the driveway when she was out with that boy. You can still feel the way her body trembled and how her hair smelled when you held her after her heart was broken. You'll miss the look she gave you when she found that perfect prom dress for senior year, and the look she had as she turned the tassel on her cap from right to left. You are going to look back at this day over and over again and remember how fun it was spending this time with your daughter. You will be so happy you took the time to do it right. And you're going to love those wonderful prints of her for the wall and that book you had made to cherish this time forever.
When I'm away, I will remember how you kissed me under the lamppost back on 6th Street, hearing you whisper through the phone, wait for me to come home.
That's such a good video.
Yeah, David, I don't like anybody who does things better than I do, which means I don't have a lot of friends. But I fought it off for a long time till I saw this video, and now I really don't like you. But just kidding. No, tell us about this. What was your thought process when you in the infancy stages of thinking about what you want to do for your promo video, and how did this come about?
Well, every year for the last, I think that's my 7th promo video. Every year I make one. And sometimes they're with one girl, like this one was with Jessie, and sometimes they're short videos with different people with different things. When I started this one, Jessie loves to sing, so I wanted to make it feel like a music video as much as anything else, but I wanted to tell the story at the end. If you'll watch the whole thing, it's 5 minutes, which may be a little bit too long, but I hope it's interesting enough and the video is good enough that you stay and watch till the end. It talks about how I do things and how I work and who I am, and it shows the whole process of being photographed as a senior. Now, the video itself, she sang Ed Sheeran's Photograph, and we recorded that in a studio with professional musicians, and then we recorded it in a sound studio. Then we took the recording that we had, we put it in my studio so that they could lip sync it to get that video of them singing. So they weren't really singing it there. They sang it already in a recording studio. And then when my video guy put it all together, he used the original recording and then, you know, lined up everything just right. Now, my video guy's phenomenal. He's been my guy all the way across. He's incredible with his drone work. He's so good to work with, and he does such a great job. So in my head, I wanted Jessie singing, music playing, and then me tell the story of what it's like to let go as they're turning into a senior. Yes, I had tears in my eyes even when I wrote it. It has worked very well for me as a sales thing. It's got 12,000 views on Instagram, on YouTube, and it's worked incredibly well as a marketing tool. Clients come in after seeing that video and talk about that video and talk about all my videos, because I've got 3 or 4 of them on my website right now.
Well, if someone watches that video and doesn't have some kind of strong emotion come forth, they have no soul.
Yep. I've got 3 short videos that I did this year, and my theme this year was let me tell your story. So we talk about the kids in the video. This one's more geared for the high school students, the seniors, versus these ones are geared towards the seniors versus geared towards the parents. Now, definitely the parent ones are the ones that do the biggest heart, but all of them, I think, work well together. I did one a few years ago with a theme at the end that, you know, gets an emotional tug, and I'm already planning out my one for next year, and I've already got the money shots figured out in my head, so it's just a matter of putting it all together.
I don't know if I can take it.
I love what I get to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can tell. I mean, your work reflects that you absolutely love it.
I take those things. He lets me cut them all apart. He makes the original one. He'll make one for the person in the video too, without me talking, so they get their own little video. And then I can cut it up into pieces, and I have like a 90-second version and a 60-second version and 15-second versions that I play on social media, and I break it all up. I had this one playing in a theater, in the lobby in the theater for a month or two, on their monitors inside the lobby, so it would cycle through 3 times an hour, and you would see this video. I've been trying to get one on the big screen. The cost has just been a little prohibitive for my big theater, but I may end up doing that this next year.
Oh, that'd be great. That's next level.
Yep.
For sure.
Well, David, we appreciate you coming and being with us today, and we talked to you a little longer than we told you we would talk to you, but that's your fault for being so interesting. And we do appreciate it. Your work speaks for itself, but not just that, but what you've been able to accomplish, not just in Ohio, but nationally, is nothing short of amazing. And it's you deserve every good thing that you get.
Thank you. I love what I get to do. I realized years and years ago that I had gifts, and I get to use those gifts every day. So it's pretty awesome. I am going to put in one little shameless plug on I do have workshops at my studio 4 times a year. I don't have them posted yet for next year, but if you're interested, it will be on my website soon.
Well, thank you, David, and we'll put those links on both on the Facebook group and under this video on YouTube, and as well as your website, social media links, and the link to the video that we just watched. So they can watch the full version, because that's you need to. What I showed you was great, but that's the last minute of it. There's a lot more to it, and it's really worth watching. So thank you, David, for coming in. And you got anything else, Josh?
I'm good. Yeah. Thanks so much, David. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care of your daughter.
All right. Will do. Thank you.
All right. And for Josh Fisher, I'm Shane Hunter. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Senior Portrait Secrets on Facebook, and see what we have coming up next. And we'll do that then. So, Josh, great show today, man.
Yeah, great show. Thanks again, Shane. Thanks again. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.